welcome to Get Booked with Mary and Jennifer. Today we're talking about Pride books again because we're still in the month of June and it is still actually Pride is this weekend. Well, the anniversary of the Stonewall riots, which is what we call Pride. Alright, so do you want to go first?
No.
Okay, I'm going to go first. So I'm going to talk about this middle grade book that I read that I love. It's called Martin McLean, Middle School Queen by Alyssa Zajac. It is her debut book. Martin is a shy kid. He has his two best friends, Pickle and I can't remember his other friend's name. That's okay. And you know, he's on the mathletes. His other friend does theater. Pickle is just like the little smart aleck guy. And you know, he's just trying to live a really like low profile life. Like he's just trying to get through middle school. And he, oddly enough, one of his bullies is also on the mathletes with him, which was a twist. Usually the bullies are stupid in middle school books. But yeah, so he is struggling with some stuff that he's just not ready to face, and so his mom invites his uncle to come live with them, and his uncle is gay and has a husband, and he and his husband are moving, and they're kind of in between things, and so he's just going to come stay with them. And in the midst of all this, his uncle takes him to his first drag show, and Martin's like, I want to do this. So this shy, introverted kid is like, how do I become a drag queen? And he's like, oh great, there's actually an all ages competition. And so this book is about Martin trying to figure out who he is, but also like loving drag. And also maybe there's a little bit of a hijinks because it turns out the drag competition, Jen, is also scheduled for the big state mathlete competition.
Of course it is.
And Martin has been named captain of the team. So what will he do? So definitely if you love middle school books that involve like kind of like I should say real life situations but are also funny, this is a really good book. It also is one of those books that has the text conversations in it, which is pretty cool, which I like. So yeah, it's really super good. So that's my first one.
Alright, my first one is the new Wonder Woman comic by Laurie Halse Anderson. It's an origin story, and it's not, I mean, it was really good. That wasn't what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, there is a couple. Wonder Woman is in a refugee camp, and she meets this guy named Steve Chang. And him and his husband, Trevor, work for the United Nations, and they're inspecting the camp, and they meet Wonder Woman, and she tells them all the things that's wrong with the camp, and things that they need to do better, and they end up taking her back to the US with them, and she does more good work there. But what I liked about it was it just was kind of like thrown in there. Like it was just like, oh yeah, here are these people, they're great, and it was just very sweet.
Would you call it normalizing behavior?
It was normalizing.
Like OMG, gay people are like everybody else.
Whatever, they're right here.
Right?
They're great, they're sweet, they're nice.
They are, I am
they
right
do
here.
important work.
I'm literally right here. So, alright, so my next book is a middle grade graphic novel called Snapdragon. It's by Kat Lay. So if that name does sound familiar for you kids that read graphic novels, that's because she's also worked on Lumberjanes for several years. I don't even know how to explain this book, so I'm just going to read the publisher description because it has so many layers to it. Snap's town has a witch. At least that's the rumor. In reality, Jack is just a Crocs-wearing, internet-savvy old lady who sells the skeletons of roadkill online. It's creepy, sure, but Snap thinks it's kind of cool, too. Snap needs a favor from this old woman, though, so she begins helping Jax with her strange work. She gets to know her and realizes that Jax may in fact have real magic and an unlikely connection to Snap's family past. So this is a pretty cool book that I would not expect. Also, Snap, her full name is Snapdragon. All the girls in her family are named after flowers. And Jax is an older lesbian that maybe has a connection to Snapdragon's grandmother. And also, Snapdragon's best friend ends up being a trans girl, which she has her transition as the graphic novel progresses. But it's just really cool. I also like the art in it. It has like really bright colors, but it's also subdued. They also rescue some possums, which is pretty cool because I like possums. And then yeah, so it's a pretty cool book that has like, you know, there's magic to be found if you just look closely enough.
My next one is a royal book. This is actually a companion novel to, I forget what the first one is. But this is by Rachel Hawkins. It's called Her Royal Highness. And Millie got into her dream boarding school in Scotland. And then she was hooking up with one of her best friends. But her best friend decided that she didn't want to be exclusive and was kind of cheating on her with somebody else. And so,
horror.
I know. Devastated, Millie goes to Scotland, where she discovers that she's now the roommate of a princess, her Royal Highness. And of course they don't get along very well, and Millie finds the princess snobby, and but gradually things turn around, and there might be some survival things, getting lost in the woods for school camp, and there's just a really cute, really sweet story. So if you like royals, which I do, it's really good.
Cool. My next book is Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. This book is one of my favorite YAs I've read in the past 5 years. So the whole story is Suzette is part of a blended family. She and her mother are black, and then the stepdad and the older brother are white and they're Jewish. So there's a little bit of racial elements in it. But she's been away at boarding school for the past year, and then something's happened, and she came back because her older brother, who she's nicknamed Lion, he's nicknamed her Little, they're very, very close. He's diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but he's not completely in the state where he's ready to admit that he has bipolar and he needs to take his meds. And so there's a lot of flare-ups, and the family's walking around on eggshells, and so she's trying to navigate coming home and having a summer, where that's a thing. And dealing with Lion, because she doesn't recognize him as the older brother who always looked out for her, and she's trying to look out for him, and he's told her a secret, and she has to keep that, but then also she's wrestling with her own bisexuality, because she kind of had a crush on a girl at school. So she's trying to figure all that out. It's one of those books that I call intersectional, because it's not just one thing. It deals with mental illness, it deals with race, it deals with sexuality. It's a very awesome, great book, especially if somebody just needs that teen angst book. It's awesome. So
my next book just came out in May. It's actually a debut book by Kevin Van Wy. It is Date Me, Bryson Keller. It's an own voices story, and Kai, who's this one, is biracial. He is gay, and he has not come out yet. Bryson is the most popular boy at school, and he does not believe in high school relationships, but they're both at a party one day, and Bryson is dared to date a new person every week for 3 months during his senior year. And he has to date the first person who asks him, so every Monday morning there's a line of people waiting to ask him, line of girls. And it just so happens that this Monday, he's late, him and Kai have a first period together drama, and randomly Kai is just hey, date me. And Bryson is a little bit confused because he didn't know anything about, obviously, Kai being gay, and so they kind of struggle to have some different conversations, which benefits both of them, and it's really adorable and really cute. There's a little bit at the end where I was oh, and it makes you very angry, and of course I cried. But it was really, really sweet and a really great book.
Yay. So my next book is Adib Khorram's Darius the Great is Not Okay. This is also another realistic fiction YA. This story, Darius can speak better Klingon than he can Farsi. Is kind of the setup for it. So he is growing up in the Pacific Northwest. His mom is Persian. His dad is a white guy who's an architect. He's very straight-laced. And Darius is kind of the bigger kid. He's kind of chubby. He's very nerdy. He's everything his dad kind of doesn't want, or at least that's how he feels. And then he finds out his grandfather has a brain tumor, and so they go and they spend the summer in Iran. And he doesn't really have a connection to his grandparents. I mean, he does, but he doesn't because it's over Skype, and they visited a couple times, but it's a little strange. So he's finding a whole different part of himself while he's in Iran, and connecting to this culture that he knows he's part of, but he's never been able to really participate in. And through that, he ends up meeting this neighborhood kid they hit it off, and he starts playing soccer with him, which is like, he could have never seen him play soccer before. He was like, I can't believe I'm playing soccer. But he has a crush on this kid. And people are calling this like a pre-coming out book because he doesn't actually completely come out. It was a standalone. It's actually just been announced that it's getting a sequel, which everyone's very excited about. Like, if you've read the book, you will be excited to read this book. But it's so good. It's like heartwarming, and you know, part of it is also struggling with like who he is as opposed to like what his dad wants. And his dad also kind of has that outsiderness because he's like the white guy with the, like the whole Persian family. Where does he fit into things? So it's about like father-son relationships, and it's just so very good. I love it. And also it's talked about the Persian culture, which we had, you know, we're seeing more books about that, but you know, you get to learn some things that you maybe didn't.
Nice. So I haven't read this one yet. It's called You Should See Me in a Crown. Just came out.
We are hyped for this book.
We ordered it and it didn't come in yet, so we're sad. But we're both gonna read it, and we're both really excited about it. So Liz Lightly is dying to get out of her Midwestern town. It's actually a prom book, which is kind of royal adjacent, so also I'm all about prom books too. So she's trying to get out of her town. She's going to go to camp, this fancy college, and she has all of these plans, and of course they all come crashing down. Her scholarship money that she was counting on, the financial aid that she was counting on falls through. And she's about to give up on her dreams when she realizes that the prom king and queen actually has a scholarship attached to it. And so she's like, oh, well clearly I just need to win prom queen. So she tries, and sounds like there's some, you know, not so great moments that happen during that, and there's a lot of mean girlness maybe, but she also meets this new girl in school, Mac, who's also running for prom queen, and there might be a little connection there.
Hey.
Sounds so good.
Yeah. So my next book is a graphic novel series. It's the reboot of Jem and the Holograms. Kelly Thompson, who I've talked about here before, she did the Nancy Drew reboot that I love. I don't think I talked about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think I talked about that on my book podcast. Anyway, doesn't matter, it's relevant. Jem and the Holograms, it's great. So this is a reboot for like modern times, and it's adorable. They've reworked some of the characters too. So one of the things I also love about it is like the characters are like more realistic as far as like not everybody's stick thin. So you have like curvy girls and like short girls and tall girls and whatnot. But Kimber is gay, and she falls for Stormer, who's in the Misfits, which is a rival band, right? And like you can't have like two rival bands having a love interest, but of course you can, because it's a disaster. So that's part of it, is like how do they make the relationship work when the Misfits are so horrible, and like Jem and the Holograms are just trying to play their songs. And then later on they introduce a trans character into the Misfits as well. So it's a pretty cute story. So if you like those reboots like She-Ra and whatnot, this is definitely one to read. And it's very colorful. It's very pink, because you know it's Jem. It's truly outrageous.
It was really cute. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
All right, this one also I haven't read. It's something to talk about. It is a Hollywood story, which I'm also here for. Mary read it and really liked it. Right? Okay.
I don't not like it. It's just like, you know, people are like, oh, romance is all the same. I'm like, no, it's not.
They're not.
They're not. It's like not my favorite, but it's not like you would like it more than I would like it, and it's fine.
Which happens.
Yeah, so that's not me being judgy. That's just me being like, no, there's just like ice cream. No one's gonna like the same flavor.
That is true. So this is a debut romance, and the Hollywood star is photographed making her assistant laugh on the red carpet, and the tabloids see this and they start calling them a couple. Of course, it's a scandal, and there's a new movie coming out, and of course, the timing couldn't be worse. So the gossip spreads, the paparazzi follow them, and they're trying to figure out what actually is going to happen. But then maybe the rumor might not be such a bad thing, and it might not be just a rumor after all. So I'm really excited for this one.
Okay, so my next book is another graphic novel series. It's great for teens. It's also good for adults. If you are a Sailor Moon fan, this is a automatic read for you because it's magical girls. Who doesn't love magical girls? They have superheroes and teen problems. So Zodiac Star Force is about a group of girls who have powers related to the zodiac signs. So there's like Aries, Mars, Gemini, Pisces, and Taurus. And at the start of the book, they're kind of retired. They're just trying to do their high school stuff and not worry about it. But all of a sudden, there's one of their classmates goes missing, and all of a sudden, there's monsters around. And they're like, oh, I guess we have to get the team back together. So they do. And it's a really cute story. I love it. One of the characters, Pisces, also is queer, and she has a little bit of romance with another girl. So it's just super sweet. It's very colorful. It definitely has like the whole like, woo, galaxy colors. The fight scenes are great, and there also is a volume 2. So I'm a big fan of that one. What's your next book, Jen?
Alright, my last one is Conventionally Yours. This is also on my to-read list, so I got to snag it first. Yay! Alright, I'm going to read the tagline because it's great. 2 infamous rivals, 1 epic road trip, some uncomfortably tight quarters, seriously, why is there only one bed, and a journey neither will ever forget. So, sounds great. I'm excited about that one.
Cool. My last book is The Legend of Korra Turf Wars series. So everyone has Avatar The Last Airbender fever right now because it hit Netflix again. So this one is, and there are Avatar graphic novels and whatnot, but this one's kind of special because this is the first graphic novel series they did for Legend of Korra. It's written by the creators of Avatar The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, so it kind of feels a little bit more authentic, if that makes any sense. And it picks up right after Korra and Asami get back from the spirit world on their spirit world vacation. And if anybody's watched Legend of Korra, you know that Korra and Asami like decide that yes, we are queer and in love, and Legend of Korra ends with them walking into the spirit world, and it's super cute. So this is them, like the honeymoon's over, they have come back to all the realities of trying to be the Avatar, which is what Korra's position is, and trying to run a multi-million-dollar company, which is what Asami's position is. And then also, like, all of these things are happening, and there's a new big bad in town they have to, like, deal with. Because, of course, in the world of Avatar, something is always out of balance, and it's up to the Avatar to bring balance to that world. So it's cool. So it's them trying to figure out how do we date and yet save the world at the same time. It's a lot. But it's really good, and I loved it. And Irene Coe did all the art for it, and she's great. And you'll see some other Asian representations that were originally in Avatar and Legend of Korra too. Because Irene is a Korean American artist, I think, and she brings a lot of like really cool stuff to it. She also hides things in scenes. So like at one point, I want to say one of the Sailor Moon characters is hiding in the background in crowd scenes. So it's super fun to kind of have the weird wallow of like cool pop culture things. So that's all we got for today. I got my new Pride Converse though, so these are different from last week's. These have rainbows, and they have rainbows on the side, and of course they have the rainbow sole. So. What about you, Jen? Do you have fun things?
I sadly do not.
But you're a book nerd. That's cool.
Sure.
Yes. Cool.
Alright, we'll see you guys next week.